So let's have a look. It's all coming back to me now. So I'm gonna keep it on the mix now. I like to start with drums on a track like this. So let's just solo the drums. Okay, the stems I received had a lot of stereo kicks and snares. One of the first things I do when I get stuff to mix is check the kicks and the snares and basses for being stereo and mono, and I split them into mono. I want my bass to be mono, I want my kick to be mono. In some cases, I'll have a blend of a stereo snare or a stereo kick that I might use in the choruses to add a little bit of width. What I want to avoid is a kick or snare or a bass sort of getting lost in width and losing its focus and definition. So what I've done here is, I think this kick drum at the top here, I've actually muted, I didn't use it. So it looks like I'm mainly using mono kicks. I have blended some samples down here, and we'll have a listen to those in a moment. So let's have a listen to our verse kick. I've got my parallel slam, so that's going out to the TK audio compressor. Without it, with it. I'm also sending this to the compressor on my bass. I've got Transient Designer softening the attack of the kick drum. With the SSL channel, it looks like I'm just pulling out a little bit of attack, so I think I might have just wanted to get it out of the way of the presence of the vocal. And also adding a little bit of bottom end with this UAD plugin. So here's the original sound. And here's the new kick sound. I should also point out that with all of that processing, I'm actually doing it in context. So I'll have probably the bass going as well, at least, or some synth, because you want to make sure that you're making those decisions in the context of the mix. So let's have a listen to second half of the verse. I've done something different with the kick, or actually different kick sound. So that's why I separated it onto a different track. Again, I've pulled out attack. I've also reduced the sustain, or bypassed this. I think I pulled out the sustain because remember that low frequencies in your kick drum was going to make it heavier. And I wanted the second half of the verse to feel like it picked up momentum. So by removing anything that's going to weigh it down, it makes it feel lighter. So let's just maybe have a listen to that section of the song.
I'm sorry, one day when you call me, we can just talk and make out in the lobby. Make a fairy tale, we ain't need to write a story. We just put the work in, then one day we get the glory in the penthouse.
So we wanted to pick up momentum, so anything I can do to help get that feeling across. And one of them was reducing the length of the kick decay. Okay, the chorus kick drum. So this is the original sound, parallel compression. What am I doing here? Pulling out some of the sort of honky frequencies and boosting the lows. Now this chorus kick, I'm blending with samples. So in this case, I'm using a DW kick drum, inside mic and outside mic from Indie Drums Mix Ready kits. Let's have a listen. So that's giving us a bit of click. So again, I'm interested in the context rather than the solid sound. Next, I've got another sample. So this is a crackle sound, which is from an indie drums. So let's have a listen to adding the crackle. And finally, the outside mic, overheads and room mics from that same DW drum kit. And they are stereo. So that's given me a little bit of width for the chorus. And of course, slamming it. And also looks like we've got another stereo kick here. And all I'm doing is pulling out the sustain. You can feel with less sustain, it's lighter, it's punchier, it moves along more. So there's our kick. For the snare, I did a similar thing. It looks like I've got the snare from the original stems pretty much through the whole song with some gentle EQ, pulling out a lot of presence here. I found this snare was a bit harsh, so I just softened it a bit. Then blending with a Brady snare from the Indie Drums Mix Ready kit. Blended with the stereo mics from that Brady snare. And that's the room that's giving us the width. So from a very mono kick and snare in the verse to a more stereo kick and snare, but with those solid center close mics, gives a subtle width and punch. So we're getting that with the room mics, those room mic samples. And I think I'm also adding some crackle, which is a stereo crackle as opposed to the mono crackle on the kick. So without and with. And there's another stereo snare sample here. All right, what else do we have drum-wise? So the toms in the verses, looks like all I was doing to these was parallel compression. I think they sounded pretty cool. Hi-hats, doing a fair bit with the hi-hats. These ones are just coming through straight to the drum bus. In the chorus, I've got these other hi-hats that I put a phase mistress on and pan man just to create a little bit of movement so that the chorus feels like it evolves a bit. And there's the ride, which I've actually turned into a bit more of a percussive instrument. So this is the original ride track. And I've created this effect with sound toys. So this kind of rhythmic pulsing that I think adds a little bit of interest to the chorus.